Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So, new patch is out. We got the patch notes. We're going to go through them. Saw a few of the changes, but I think a lot of them we're going to get some live reactions here for. So, let's take a look at what the new patch has to offer. Patch highlights. So, the changes talked about to the token acquisition are going live with this update. Also, the change for Series 3, where you no longer are going to be able to buy Series 3 cards with tokens, but instead get a free one a month, is a thing. I think people are actually really going to dislike this change, because it's actually making the game worse and not better for Series 3 people in a lot of ways. So that's unfortunate, and I hope they change that. General updates, season drops, yeah, we talked about this before. Audio, new card sounds for Thanos, Nimrod, Master Mold, and Negasonic. New location sounds for Morag and Bar Sinister. Art and visual effects. Thanos got a start of the game effect. Balance updates. This is what we want to see. The unscheduled changes to Zabu and Silver Surfer made the metagame shifts for last month more difficult for us to predict, and we weren't able to make timely adjustments for technical reasons. In that time, Thanos became one of our most dominant deck yet. His weak matchup versus Zabu and Surfer had been really holding the Mad Titan back. Shuri-based decks were another big winner here, and both those archetypes have exceeded our tolerances for game balance. This patch's adjustments are aimed at restoring order and weakening each of them. Alright, let's see what we've got here. Thanos, 611 to 610. We increased Thanos' power in a previous patch that was built during a time when Zabu and Surfer were suppressing the success of Thanos-based decks. We're happy to keep him at 9+ power for Shang-Chi's sake, but given his recent success, thought it appropriate to pull back the buff just a bit. It won't dramatically impact the success of Thanos decks, as it's mostly the strength of the stone interactions that are making him strong. Space Stone, on reveal, next turn you can move one card at this location, draw a card. Now it is on reveal, next turn you can move one card to this location, draw a card. This is among the strongest stones in the Thanos deck due to its ability to create bonus lockjaw triggers and disguise where strong cards might move. This change reduces its efficacy with lockjaw by removing the incentive to play Space Stone itself for a lockjaw trigger, flattening the number of bonus trigger opportunities for lockjaw and restricting the strategic options for late game movement. We expect this to reduce the tactical flexibility of Thanos decks and make them more fun to play against. Quinjet now reduces cost to a minimum of 1. Alright, I'm just gonna pull the band-aid off here. This is bullshit. I think that's a terrible change. It's really shitty that that Quinjet is basically getting nerfed into the ground because of Thanos existing, when they could have just made it work that way with the stones. I don't like this change. Cost reduction's powerful. Quinjet was one of the very few cards capable of reducing multiple cost energy to 0. While we've enjoyed this interaction in some cases, such as the Hood's Demon, ultimately it creates both an ongoing risk for future design space as well as fueling the dominant Thanos decks of today. This should be a meaningful net reduction to strength Thanos decks. Yeah, I think this is kind of bullshit, personally. I don't like this change. Red Skull, 515 to 513. Also, it's changing from enemy cards at this location of +2 power to +1 power. This change is singularly aimed at reducing the strength of combining Red Skull with Shuri and Taskmaster. Outside of those interactions, this change is mostly a buff to the base case use for Red Skull, giving you 9 or 10 power at crowded locations rather than 7 or 9. She-Hulk. She-Hulk going from a 6'10 to a 6'9. She-Hulk is a key component in the strongest Shuri decks, but it sees widespread play in various decks thanks to its strength alongside Sunspot, Wave, and Moon Girl. We mostly think that's cool, but she's more powerful than she needs to be for those combos. In addition, we want to encourage playing actively to locations rather than holding cards for explosive turn 6, so we're continuing to weaken a few of the best cards for later. For the latter. So Arrow, here we go. Arrow going from a 5/7 on reveal, move all enemy cards played this turn to this location, to a 5/8 on reveal, move the last enemy card played this turn to this location. This is another one. I think this is bullshit, and we're gonna hit it with a little down mark because they're nerfing this card into the ground, and it's really quite sad to see. Developer comments, Arrow is a tricky card for us. The actual game balance for Arrow has been healthy, and she fulfills a vital role in our game by providing interaction, especially against dangerous polarizing cards like Galactus. It's important for Arrow to be versatile and strong in order to be a widely playable tech card. We don't want her pushing the majority of other 5-cost cards out of decks. Unfortunately, that's the behavior we've been seeing. Arrow can also be frustrating to see, denying players the option to play their own endgames. This change seeks to keep Arrow strong where she's needed, foster more competition among 5-cost cards, and add counterplay to make her more fun to play against. Yeah, I think this is a garbage change. Hot garbage. Fuck this change. Mystique, Absorbing Man, Taskmaster. These cards now require the previously played card to be played, or Mystique, Absorbing Man, and Taskmaster. These cards now require the previously played card to be in play in order to copy its attributes, and their text is updated to reflect that. This adjustment is part balance, part matching expectations. A meaningful chunk of Taskmaster's strength in Shuri decks is his ability to copy a card's power even if it's been destroyed by Shang-Chi or other effects. An interaction that somewhat often gets reported as a bug. Hopefully this change weakens Shuri decks slightly and more cleanly matches players' intuition when they see cards for the first time. Morbius. Power no longer updates in hand or in deck, only at a location. We previously adjusted Morbius's power to update when he wasn't in play to simplify calculating his future power. However, this has proven a bit confusing in comparison to similar cards, and also unnecessary given that Morbius is often played very early in the game, isn't hard to calculate. We're reverting this change. We expect to add future functionality to Morbius and all cards with ongoing buffs to their own power that communicates their power in order to make these cards simpler to play with. Null. Still updates in hand, but no longer in deck. Future improvements discussed above will apply to Null, but ultimately until we make them, he will continue to function differently relative to Devil Dino and others. Reason for this is it's very important for Null players to be able to quickly and precisely calculate his power while making endgame decisions about their 6-cost card. As a placeholder adjustment, Null will no longer update his power in your deck, so his functionality with Mr. Negative will still be the same as his spell ongoing cards. Notably, he will use his potential power for effects like the peak location until we're able to make our desired improvements, the trade-off we decided to accept for now. Widow's Bite, text only. While this card is in your hand, cards in your deck cannot be drawn. While this card is in your hand, you can't draw cards. Widow's Bite inaccurately described its in-game effect. While we're considering updating the effect of Widow's Bite to only prevent drawing your own cards and effects like Cable from drawing your cards, we ultimately decided it was a better experience to just simplify the text. Okay. Yeah, and those are our balance changes. Wow. They certainly made some decisions. And notably missing from this list are two of the heavy hitters in the Thanos deck, Leech and Lockjaw, surprisingly. Quinjet was definitely a prediction a lot of people made. There definitely are things here that can slow down the deck, but honestly, first impression, I think Thanos Lockjaw is a good shot of still being a tier 1 deck, as not great as that sounds. We won't know for sure until we get to try it out. I'm going to be trying all the new stuff out here shortly over on stream. But yeah, those are balance changes. So Thanos, Space Stone, Quinjet, Red Skull, She-Hulk, Arrow, the Mystique, mainly Taskmaster change there. The others, I believe, already worked that way. Actually, maybe they didn't. I don't fully remember. I guess they didn't if they're changing all of them. But Mystique, Absorbing Man, Taskmaster, and then Morbius and Null and Widow's Bite are more just clarification changes. Also a list of bug fixes here, and no buffs, which is kind of sad, to be honest. I was really hoping we would get some buffs this patch, and it looks like we're not. They did talk previously about wanting to buff more cards, but maybe we will see more about that in their next balance update. Kind of a shame, because I think buffs are always a good thing for the game. But yeah, those are our patch notes. Patch is now live over up on Steam, and it should be dropping to mobile shortly if it isn't already. I'd like to hear what you think about these changes. Overall, I think there's some good changes in here. I think there's some bad changes in here, sadly. And I'm interested to see how it's going to affect the game. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Set Camper, thanks for the follow.
I am Iron Man.
Pog? What a wacky version of Thanos.